Hey guys, welcome to Late Night on Base. Today we have the Miggles team on the podcast, and let me tell you, if you haven't heard about them, you probably should. They have taken Base by storm, launching 3 days ago at nothing, and it hit about $100 million as of to this recording. Whether you like them, whether you hate them, they are a very polarizing project that has done extremely well. So find out about the project, why have they done so well, and what do you think the success has been in their minds? So it should be a really good episode. So stay tuned. All right, welcome everyone back to Late Night on Base. We have a new podcast today and a new guest. Honored to have Force from the Miggles team. This one literally just came out of nowhere. Last 3 days, this project has taken Base by storm. It came out of nowhere, and in 3 days, it reached about $100 million in market cap. I think at the time of this recording is around like 90. So obviously, it's the talk of the town. There's a lot of good, a lot of bad thoughts regarding it. So it's really interesting to have someone a part of that project. So, Force, how are you doing today?
Great, man. Thanks so much for having me on board. Great to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you. So, Force, for those that may be listening to this on Spotify, I mean, maybe one of the users or Twitter handler spaces, people, anyone on X, anyone on YouTube, maybe someone completely new to crypto and just heard of it, or maybe they're experienced vet hearing Miggles for the first time. If you don't mind, what is Miggles?
Miggles is the Coinbase mascot cat. It was born on July 17th of 2024 via Coinbase, kind of a teaser via their Instagram. They kind of teased this very, very scrumpy, really grumpy kind of looking cat that's very, very infinitely memeable. And from there, the Web3 community on Base really kind of took it upon themselves and really kind of protect this cat and its image and the meme, right? And so the original developer who launched the Miggles coin after that teaser, he dumped his entire supply. And what we currently do in the Web3 space is called a CTO, which is a community takeover. It's essentially kind of, just for like casual sakes, it's kind of a middle finger to the developer, essentially, right? It's essentially what crypto and Web3 has stood for this whole time, since the dawn of time, since the very, very early days of kind of a middle finger to the institutions and really kind of truly propelling the space of revolution using technology to the right places and the bankless people. So mixed in with that, you kind of just want to take over a community, basically from the developer who's done wrong, right? Miggles would have had a very, very bright future if he weren't to dump it to zero. But a really strong community saw the potential in Miggles and saw the potential in the narrative, saw the potential in the actual creativity that's been going into it from Coinbase and how far they've been pushing it in the early days. And so we really took it over upon ourselves as a community. And now it's a completely community owned token.
That's amazing. And a lot of times the CTO is actually pretty bullish for projects, hit or miss. But if a CTO is done correctly, it's extremely bullish. And the reason why is you now have a collective force, a collective community involvement to really take it to the next height. A lot more people are going to think of this as their own project. By doing that, they're going to be more invested into the success and the long-lasting success of the project. So it's really good to see, a band of people coming together for a greater cause.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I kind of made it sound a little bit serious, but to really kind of keep it lighthearted and fun, it's really just a group of strangers that just continuously get added within a community and then just become friends along the way and really build up a fun, vibrant, very robust environment that anyone can really feel free to share their ideas and kind of elaborate and speak for themselves and let their creativity flow and get value for that, right? Connect with other creators and people who are like-minded as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're creating a family
Yeah,
of
of course.
strangers on the internet
Yeah, exactly.
all around the world.
Yeah,
For
exactly. And internet's a very beautiful place for that.
It really is. It really is. You can talk to people literally anywhere in the world as long as they have an internet connection. But yeah, Forrest, tell me. So actually, then tell me about what exactly is your involvement.
So I was just a regular holder, just like anyone else. And I think the beauty of this whole thing I want to start off is the fact that Miggles is a completely organic project. No KOLs have been paid. Nobody has been really paid to endorse it in a sense of, all the other projects who seem to kind of feel like they focus on that in a sense, right? But when something is really truly beautiful and strong at heart and at core, you don't need any of that. And word of mouth is just strong enough. And if the idea is strong enough, it sticks. So I think, with my involvement, I was in there around, I think I bought in the first 4 3 4 hours. I remember I saw Coinbase is kind of leaking, and I saw what the community was buzzing about. Base at the time, there was a lot of cool things like Base CTO. Jesse Pollock was coming back from his honeymoon. Very beautiful stuff. Love the guy. We hope he had a really great honeymoon as well. And so, yeah, I think during that time, it was a perfect timing for the community to get buzzed about something on Base, right? We wanted like on-chain summer to really come in and really have something that sparks us and really motivates us and kind of makes us excited again about Base. And here came Miggles, right? And so that's when I kind of entered the trade, and I saw a slight bit of the Twitter, and some of the delegation was a little bit messy, and that's kind of the whole beauty of the CTO, though. Nothing needs to be perfect in a CTO, right? Like I said, it's just a group of strangers that for the first time we talk and we just sit down and we understand what is going on, what needs to be done, what needs to be executed, who has what resources, who could be reached out to, and we all just simultaneously move like lightning speed. And I think, in this space when the attention economy is so quick and so fast, everyone needs to be moving very quick, and everyone needs to be very, very locked in, as the kids would say, right? um, so yeah, I think when I came in, there was the team itself was about, I think, 8 to 10 individuals. Now it's about 20 to 24 of us as volunteers that are really killing it. But yeah, at the time I was they had need some fixing up with the X account and the Telegram channel community. So we kind of stepped in and helped them out a little bit, and yeah, it was great. It was really fun, and it still is very fun.
And it's gonna probably continue to be fun because I don't know if you guys haven't seen the candles in the chart. Oh my god, this thing is just parabolic. That is massive props, for obviously seeing the foresight of where it's gonna go. Like I said, I'm really deep in the base ecosystem. I see what's going on. So I saw this picture of the cat and I didn't really understand, but then it clicked. I was like, oh, someone's gonna make a meme coin of Miggles or something's gonna happen. And next thing I know, this thing's at like 15 million. And I definitely aped a little bit, not gonna lie. Not financial advice. People do what you want to do, but I did. And that
Yeah,
thing went up to
NFA
like,
always.
yeah, that thing went to like 90. So it's super cool to see kind of the growth. But I have something to ask you for. So you're talking about making a splash for on-chain summer. There's no doubt that Miggles is actually being talked about everywhere. Every community on base, building on base, different projects are talking on base. But the conversation is very polarizing, right? You have one side who are super happy. Oh man, Miggles is great, taking the liquidity, love it, number go up. But then you do have other projects in the space who are actually kind of upset that, on theory, they're thinking Coinbase launched this coin or had something to do to help them out. Just kind of want to know what your thoughts are on that. Like, do you see the good and the bad? Do you see both sides of the argument? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I see where people are coming from, right? That's one thing. And then for two, I think for people who are kind of fearful of, say, like, Miggles is going to take all the liquidity from all the base projects, that's not going to be the case, right? In the back end, the communications between every single people is, do not talk about other projects in a shameful way. Be collaborative, be open to it. And if people want to do the work and put in the legwork and be creative and be unique, there's no point not to really notice that in a sense, right? So there's nothing that is toxic going on in the back end, and we've done everything that we could, and I think it shows within the community that we've kind of kept that way, right? We've kind of kept that mantra the whole time. And so despite that being said, I do agree to the fact that maybe, in the very, very short term, in the first like 3 days or so, yeah, sure, like, that could happen. But think about the amount of liquidity that's going to come in from Solana, come from other chains, completely, aside from the Miggles team points perspective at all, just me as an individual, right? Like, I've been around the space for quite some time, and I know that ETH was originally like the beta play for Bitcoin, right? People viewed it as the beta play, and then Solana was the beta to ETH, right? So it kind of, people were playing in Solana for quite some time, and the so-called Soul Casino was very addictive, right? But at the same time, there is a really big value in what kind of culture Base is building throughout the entire chain, not just one corporate environment, but a very, very vibrant, very, very vibrant startup kind of environment for the whole entire chain, right? So I think that's really exciting, and yeah, I mean, there's so much more to come, but yeah, we'll kind of see how we'll kind of see how to go. But
Yeah.
in the end of the day, yeah, Miggles is not a bad thing, and I don't think there's anybody that really should misinterpret it in that way, because there's nobody in the back end, there's nobody in the community that's really quite bashing others. And if there is, just let me know, DM me, and I'll make sure I take care of it.
Yeah, no, I think no one's actually upset at, the Miggles CTO project itself. I
Yeah.
think I think you guys are doing things the right way. You guys aren't bashing people. You guys are just in your lane working. I know you guys are open to collaborations. I mean, the fact that you guys are open to doing a podcast to get the exposure out there, that's amazing. You're wanting to reach out to the community. I think, yeah, some founders are probably just more along the lines upset at maybe some core Coinbase people, I guess, base people kind of launching something that they know is going to be pushed. And a lot of these other projects have been like, building in the shadows, so they're probably thinking, why hasn't Coinbase then pushed us, And so I do get it, but I think overall, projects like Miggles, in my opinion, are a net positive by far. And the reason
Mhm.
why everything, especially on base and all the projects building on base, because the way I look at it, it brings attention. It brings attention to this chain. Brett, for instance, billion market cap. That's amazing. Everyone should be rooting for Brett, because Brett is the leader, and the bigger the prize or the bigger the project, more eyes are going to be on him. At the end
Right.
of the day, Base is gonna be bringing in, 1,000,000, 1,million, 2,000,000 plus users on chain. They wanna be the retail chain, and I think they have a great shot. They see these projects like Brett and you guys hitting 100,000,000. That's amazing, because then people are gonna be like, "Okay, I need to know what Base is about. I need to get into this chain." And then you have new liquidity. The only way we all do really well and are happy is new liquidity comes in.
Mhm.
So, where do you think that money is gonna go to? People are gonna think like, "Oh, I missed the boat on Brett. Oh, I missed the boat on Miggles. Let's see what else is out here." So I view it as a positive, what you guys are
Yeah,
doing.
and also, I think Base has played it really well in terms of not tokenizing anything that's directly related to the Base chain. It really opens up the door for Coinbase to give out ideas and, basically decentralize that ability to be creative. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a centralized place that is all the creativity is coming from, and all the creativity coming from one centralized location doesn't need to be where all the monetary royalties are going to. So I think that's a really groundbreaking thing that Base has done. And I don't think that it's in any way, shape, or form that Base thought that this was going to be 100% hit or success. I personally genuinely believe that they spent months and months, if not years, for these kind of moments. And at the end of the day, it was a gamble and a risk on their end. But they've done their studying. They know how the trenches work. They know how the grassroots communities work. They know how the corporate environment is. They know how the regulations work. So they've kind of positioned themselves perfectly for this year, especially with the ETTF. All different things coming up, right? Olympics, a lot of interesting events coming up, and I think that is really exciting.
I
And
think
I
it's
can
very
give, it's hats off to them, right? It's like at the end of the day, they're people and they want to do something exciting. They want to do something rebellious, challenging, but they don't want to do it in a unprofessional way. They can't do it in that way, right? So all these people that have been short-sighted and maybe tokenized their chains and whatnot, I'm not sure. ETH is already the B2B kingpin, and I think Base is really the move that creates the retail activation, right? And so the original vision of ETH being the B2B chain, and then having something on top of ETH as a layer two that can create the retail flow. I think Base is exactly what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and I think it's kinda bullish that they didn't tokenize with their own,
Oh
token,
yeah,
for
big
instance. I
time,
think
big
it's
time,
yeah,
big
very
time.
much so. I
Yeah,
mean, you're
big, big time.
utilizing ETH, and now you have the ETH whales, the base, that community. You don't have to worry about,
It's such a
let's
base thing to do, It's so based.
it is. It really is.
Everything
There's
they've done so far is so based, like not just
for
no pun
sure.
intended.
No, for sure, and that's why, like, I made the decision to create this podcast focused on the base ecosystem, because I saw how base they are and how, when you're the leader by far, the number 1 exchange in America, like, not even close, and probably arguably top 2 exchange in the world, next to Binance, just the way they do things properly. They don't need to just, like, "Here's a money grab for a token. Let's utilize ETH. Let's utilize the liquidity on that chain. Make it so everyone now has this playground to play, less fees." So I'm super bullish, and yeah, like I said, any projects out there, think longer term. Yes, Miggles is doing great. Whatever, Coinbase is pushing it. Fantastic. Be happy. Just build, 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 and this is how 1,000,000 plus, 2,000,000 plus users come. That's all I have to tell these guys. Keep building, keep pushing, and you guys will achieve success. So let me ask you this, Force.
Mhm.
So obviously, this project has gone up to about 100,000,000 real fast in 3 days. What do you attribute what do you attribute to its success so fast? Do you think it's the Coinbase narrative? Do you think there's anything else that really, propelled it so fast?
I think it could be quantified in a sense, right? Like, I think there's multiple different variables. I wouldn't say it's any single variable. And I wouldn't say any single one of those variables are 100% certain thing that everyone knew about. I think it all organically happened as it went, and that's what made it even more beautiful. And so, yeah, so like just kind of to reiterate that, Coinbase did not really launch the token, right? It's like they kind of teased it. The community did what they wanted to do with it. The dev launched it. That was a bad actor dev. He cheated it to zero. Community took over. From there, everything was built up. So I think the attributions to success came from everything being done proper, the team individuals knowing what needed to be done, everyone being very good people. I think that was the most important part was everyone was good, everyone was respectful, and kind of treated it like a very serious project that needed to be taken seriously as it should. If we're going to be representing Coinbase's mascot, I don't think many things can provide that's unprofessional.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, so far you guys are nailing everything, all cylinders. Let me ask you this for the project. Do you guys plan to do like are you guys pretty active on the X spaces? Have you guys been doing that whole circuit? Like, do you have plans to do those things? Do you have other plans in the next coming weeks that you can share?
Yeah, we actually have X Spaces coming up. Probably not daily, but many of our mods and community members. We are planning 8X Spaces, most likely, hopefully with someone like Aerodrome, right? Some core builders of Base, so that we can not only just like this, where you're posting this on Spotify, which is great, but also connecting in with the builders on Base, and they're oftentimes looking at Aerodrome and what people like Ace are posting. So I think it'd be great to reach out to folks like that. Other than that, there's plenty of things that we haven't planned, and we're super excited. We really can't stop cheesing about it when we think about it. So it's very, very exciting what we're all thinking about and plotting and twisting in the team. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for it.
Amazing. So Forrest, I think it's important on these podcasts, especially obviously talking about the project is really important, but talking about the people behind, maybe the CTO push or, more of the active day-to-day members like yourself. Getting to know them on a deeper level is actually pretty important, critically, to kind of get trust and transparency into a project. The more that they believe in those people, the better the project becomes. So I kind of want to know, Forrest, tell us about you, man. Like, what's your crypto story?
Oh man. So my crypto story goes a little bit far back. I first heard about Bitcoin and crypto back in 2013 via the Dark Road and Silk Road and Olympus markets and all the stuff that was going on back then. I think that was like a really revolutionary moment to me when I was about, of like a young age, thinking about the fact that wow, the internet has two separate layers. That's interesting, and that we're all playing on one layer, and then there's another chain that essentially is a different layer. But it's not. We didn't call it a chain, right? They just called it a onion site back then. So I think thinking from back then, really, fast forward to then 2016 bull run, 2017 bull run. That was when CZ was big, futures were getting big, BitMEX was getting big, Arthur Hayes was getting big. Seeing the growth from there, and then 2019, 2021 to FTX, Luna, et cetera, et cetera. I've kind of seen the space overall grow, right? And I'm really, really happy to see the on-chain environment today. That's just me speaking as like a Web3 on-chain user. Is I think everybody who's been in crypto for some time has always waited for this kind of environment where people are actually using the on-chain technology, and really trying to make that serious push for the retail crowd. So I've been around crypto for quite some time. My background, more on the professional side, came from the family background, family fund background in APAC, specifically in Tokyo. And from there, I also have a background in hospitality and restaurant businesses. So my family business is basically a restaurant, right? So I come from a very, very humble, super hardworking immigrant family. Like my father passed away at a relatively young age because how hard he worked, and that doesn't really take it away from how much fun he had in life, right? But yeah, my background is very, very humble. It's not like I come from a trust fund. The person that really initially told me about Miggles, he also comes from a very humble background as well. He's also, he's just a regular old dude, does BMXing, does riding in the trenches, and just kind of playing around on Twitter as well. So I think a lot of the people in the Miggles team comes from a really, really just regular background. Like either regular. There may be some really interesting people with fun backgrounds, and I think it varies quite a lot. But the fact is, there's so many different kind of backgrounds of people in one room, and that we can align on one thing and work together in the moment that we meet each other is a beautiful phenomenon, right? In so many such cases, you meet strangers and there's always negative opinions about each other, even just walking down the street, maybe perhaps. But and the fact is that in the Miggles back team, it's been nothing like that. It's been very, very positive. It's been fun. It's been very beautiful. It's been super creative. Everyone's pushing for each other in a positive way, and just like, hey, like, are you drinking water? Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting enough sleep? You know, like, can I
Exactly.
take over for the mod duty? Can I take over BC? Like, who's got the next tweet ready? Like, what do you guys think about this idea? Like, everything is flowing so chaotically, but in the sense that like it's a perfect chaos, right? It's a perfect storm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's really
And
fun.
I do like the fact, and I think, viewers should pay attention to kind of your upbringing. It's amazing that you come from a hardworking, humble family because that shows your character, your integrity. It doesn't seem like, you are desperate for money. It doesn't seem like you're just out for a quick scam. You're hardworking, you're honest. And that's the type of projects that people should,
Yeah.
align with. So
Right. Like, I
props
mean,
to you.
no, I think to not to cut you off, right? But I think I wanted to add on to that was I've met tons of people who've, have no money and have been way happier than the people I've met with infinite amounts of money. I've met both sides. I like people with big dreams, and that's why I think base really sits well with me because I think the ultimate goal and I think what really makes people happy is chasing a dream, right? Like
Mm,
really simply put, like let that child inside of you scream with happiness, right? Like let yourself dream again. Like let yourself feel like you can dream and be a dreamer and have an infrastructure set up in the world that allows for that to happen. I think that's really beautiful. So, no matter what background, I think with people who come from really, really wealthy families or middle class or lower class, I think I've seen all different fronts. And I'd probably say that I've seen happier people in the lower class. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Like I've seen many people who don't attach their individual wealth to monetary values. They attach their individual wealth to friendships, families, friends, creativity, food, whatever it is, right? Something that is not really directly how much money are you going to make in the next moment.
Amazing, man. Force, you are somebody that I know is going to help lead a project. I've talked to so many people in this space, founders of all sorts of things. I'm not just saying this because you're on my show. You have the mindset, the attitude, the mentality to really do well. I'm sure you're doing well, but you're going to continue to do well. So I applaud you, man. And I know this project's going to do
We're gonna
well.
just try to push, man. We're all in the same boat. We're all gonna try to push together.
Amazing. Forrest, before we go, because we like to keep this between 20 and 25 minutes because, let's
Of
be honest,
course,
Gens don't like to their attention span's super short.
we gotta get
Is
back
there
in the trenches.
exactly.
Understand.
Is there anything any last things you'd like to say before we sign off?
No, not really. I appreciate Late Night on Base greatly. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you for all the listeners. Greatly appreciate that. I guess my shameless show would just be my Zero X Force on Twitter. The Zero on the Force as well. So yeah, drop a follow. Kind of stay tuned with everything that's going on with Miggles. Ski is another project I help out with on Base as well. So definitely keep an eye on that. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. So for anyone listening to this on Spotify, please head over to the YouTube page. On the YouTube page, we're going to make sure we have Force's account on X. We're going to make sure that Mickle's account is on X, so you can follow for more updates. Also, we'll be putting Late Night on Bases X information. Of course, we appreciate any likes and subscribes. Helps us grow the channel, and it's free for you. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.